Thank you for tuning in. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the truth about a lie, and you will learn the hidden secrets the wealthy don't want you to know. First off, let's get the disclosures out of the way. This presentation is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information with regard to the subject matter covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither Empower Learning Group, LLC, or any guest speakers is engaged in rendering legal, professional, licensed trading advice. Because the details of your situation are fact-dependent, you should additionally seek the services of a competent, licensed professional. The opinions expressed by any guests are not necessarily those of Empower Learning Group. Alright, let's get into it. So, in this lesson, you're going to learn the 4 key areas of your financial life the wealthy don't want you to know. You're going to learn why the rich keep getting richer and how you can too. And you're going to discover how to change the polarity of your money. Now don't worry, this all sounds like a lot, but as we get into this, you'll understand. So first things first, let's go to the Bible. King Solomon, the wealthiest man ever to have roamed the earth, said, "One man pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth." That's out of Proverbs chapter 13, verse 7. In chapter 27, verse 23, he also tells us, "Be sure you know the condition of your flocks. Give careful attention to your herds." Now, when you stop and think about a man pretending to be rich, yet has nothing, how many people do you know who are 2 paychecks away from being completely dead broke? The American dream says get a good education, go get a good job that pays a lot of money, go get the big fancy house, go get the big car, but of course you can't pay for those things cash, so of course we're going to have to go get a big mortgage, we're going to have to get those student loans, and we're going to have to get a car loan that's going to follow us forever and ever, amen. Well, when you have all these really cool, nice things, but you can barely pay your bills, that's what it looks like to pretend to be rich. Yet you really don't have anything. In a few years, your car's going to break down, you're going to need a new car, and you've still got this debt. You have to go get more debt. Very, very wealthy people tend to not carry debt. They drive old, beat-up cars, or they'll buy used cars. They'll live in modest homes, and many times they have their homes paid off, and yet on the outside it doesn't look like they have a lot of wealth. It looks like they're just an average citizen, and yet they have great wealth. That's what that passage means. Now in the second passage, be sure you know the condition of your flocks, give careful attention to your herds. In the Old Testament, your flocks and your herds is where people made their money. So if you're not paying attention to your money, you're not watching what you're investing in, you're not watching how you're spending it, you're going to become very poor very quickly. So let's move on. There's 2 questions that we want to ask. What is the difference between Donald Trump's financial statement and mine? Or what's the difference between Donald Trump's financial statement and yours? I want you to think about this as we go through this, the next couple of slides. You'll begin to understand. Donald Trump and you and I all have the same 4 basic building blocks to our financial lives. Now, Donald Trump has done very well with his, and most of the rest of us have not. And you'll understand in just a moment what I'm talking about. Now, the next question is really important. And it's so easy for us as Americans to compare ourselves to one another. Do you even want Donald Trump's financial statement? Is it even on your radar to be a billionaire? For most people, it's not. Most of us just want a good life where we can enjoy life, where we can serve in our churches and in our communities, where we have time to enjoy our kids, we can send our kids to college, the house is paid for, and we can enjoy our retirement. That's perfectly fine. When we get done with this, you'll understand how we actually have the same financial building blocks that Donald Trump has. And when you understand this, you'll be able to build yours and design the life that you want rather than letting life dictate what you're going to do. So there's 4 key areas to your financial life. There's assets, liabilities, income, and expenses. This is the truth about a lie. Assets, liabilities, income, and expenses. Hopefully you'll never forget that again. Now this is why the rich keep getting richer. We know that we have assets, we've got liabilities, we've got income and expenses in our financial statements. The rich understand that they use either assets or they leverage a liability. A liability is going to be using a debt instrument. They're going to borrow money in order to buy assets, and those assets actually create income. And when I say they create income, it means that if they did leverage a liability or they took out debt to buy the asset, their net income after subtracting out all of the debt payments and the expenses actually leaves them with a positive income at the end of the day. Now the average person does not do that. The average person actually has, they take out liabilities to buy things they think are assets. In the next slide, we're going to understand, you'll have an understanding of what the difference is between an asset and a liability. But most people use liabilities. They'll use a mortgage, they'll use student loans, they'll use car loans, things like that, to actually buy things that they think are assets. But those assets, so to say, I'm doing the air quote here, those assets are actually, they actually create expenses, and that drives money away from you. So every month when you get paid, your money is actually traveling away from you because you now have expenses that you have to pay for those things that you purchased using debt. The wealthy create assets. They either use assets or liabilities to buy assets, create income. That income is actually traveling to them. And so the polarity of their money is either coming to you or it's going away from you, but it can't do both at the same time. Here's how you change the polarity of your money. Rather than buying liabilities that create expenses like your personal car, your personal home, speculatory investments, that's going to be something that you make an investment in something hoping one day that it might go up, but you have no control over it whatsoever. Somebody might sneeze somewhere halfway around the world and your investment is now gone. And a lot of people invest in things that they think one day will go up. They have no control over that. Assets that you might look at that create income might be real estate. People buy rental properties. They buy mortgage notes, or they create mortgage notes that create income for them. They might buy a business such as, for example, a car wash. If you own a car wash, that car wash doesn't require you to be there 24/7 to run it. You might have to go by there once in a while, but people are shoving coins into the car wash, washing their cars while you're sleeping. So, you know, businesses, laundromats, vending machine businesses, all kinds of different businesses can create income for you. Stocks and bonds might create income for you. Again, stocks and bonds are going to be paper assets, and you might be able to earn a 3, 4, 5, 10% return on your income. But again, you want to make sure that you know exactly what it is that you're investing in. You don't want to end up in speculatory investments that are losing you money and costing you a lot of money. You want to know what your fees are associated with that. And then you might have some income producing assets, you know, and each one of these are going to be those income producing assets. And that's how the wealthy get wealthier, and they change the polarity of their money. Instead of the expenses going away from them, you can start to invest in things that actually create more income. In essence, tipping the tables in your favor. When you understand all this, when you know the truth about a lie, when you understand assets, liabilities, income, expenses, and how those 4 areas of your basic building blocks of your financial future, when you understand how they work together, you can actually let your money grow on trees so to say. Your daddy always said money doesn't grow on trees. Well, I'm here to tell you that you can make it grow if you know how to make it grow. Now that you know the truth about a lie, we're going to teach you about the specifics of assets, liabilities, income, and expenses. So go ahead and check out the next video about assets. Thanks for joining us.